It's amazing. The players all started out sitting on the grass. Another one gone. He got out in front of that one and almost was fooled, but
Josh Hamilton's story isn't just about baseball. It's about talent, raw, undeniable talent, twisted and nearly destroyed by addiction, only to rise again in a way that felt, at times, almost mythic. His is a journey through darkness, filled with promise and pain, glory and heartbreak. To understand Josh Hamilton, you have to start with where he came from and what he had to overcome. Josh was born in Raleigh, North Carolina on May 21, 1981. From the beginning, he was different, a natural athlete. By the time he was a teenager, he was dominating baseball diamonds and drawing comparisons to some of the greats. Scouts and coaches didn't just see potential, they saw inevitability. His bat speed was electric, his arm, cannon-like, his power, explosive. He was the kind of player you dream about building a franchise around. In 1999, at just 18 years old, Josh Hamilton was the #1 overall pick in the MLB draft, selected by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. He signed a $3.96 million contract, and the baseball world collectively nodded. This kid was the real deal. But that money, that sudden fame, it didn't come without cost. In his early professional years, Hamilton began experiencing back issues. A car accident in 2001, in which he and his parents were injured, would become a turning point, not just physically, but emotionally. For the first time in his life, Josh Hamilton was sidelined. The structure of daily games and training routines was gone, and into that void crept something far more dangerous than any fastball he'd ever face: addiction. At first, it was casual, a few drinks, some experimentation with drugs, but it escalated fast. Cocaine, crack, alcohol. What started as release became dependency. Hamilton failed his first drug test in 2003. He was suspended. Then again in 2004. Over the next several years, he spiraled. He disappeared from the game entirely. There are stories, frankly haunting stories, of Hamilton sleeping in a trailer behind a North Carolina tattoo shop, covered in ink, strung out, and alone. At his lowest, he said he would wake up, smoke crack, pass out, then do it all over again. He burned through most of his signing bonus. Friends distanced themselves. Family worried they might lose him forever. And yet, he didn't disappear completely.
I don't even know how he was surviving because he was a skeleton, he didn't even look like the same person. And just mentally, I felt like he didn't have any grasp on reality.
In 2005, Major League Baseball reinstated him under certain conditions. But the comeback didn't start in the big leagues. It started with humility. It started in the minor leagues. It started with surrender, with accountability. Hamilton credits his return to faith and the support of his grandmother and his wife, Katie, who stood by him even when he gave her every reason not to. Then came a miracle. In 2006, he was taken by the Chicago Cubs in the Rule 5 draft, and then traded to the Cincinnati Reds. The 2007 season would be his official rookie year at age 26, older than most rookies, but wiser in some ways too.
Gone. And another minor milestone, if you will, but I'm sure it feels major to Josh Hamilton. Fighting for his life to get back to the big leagues, he makes.
In Cincinnati, he finally got to show the world what had been trapped inside him for years. In just 90 games, he hit 19 home runs with a .292 average. His swing, still lightning fast. His power, still jaw-dropping. But it was just the beginning. In 2008, Hamilton was traded to the Texas Rangers. That's when things really took off.
less than that now.
Uh-oh! He's done it again!
Wow.
21-game hitting streak, upper tank home run. He is amazing.
He exploded out of the gate, leading the league in RBIs for most of the season and finishing with 32 home runs, 130 RBIs, and a .304 batting average. But the true highlight came at the 2008 Home Run Derby at Yankee Stadium.
Ladies and
Welcome to the 2008 State Farm Home Run Derby.
It was supposed to be just another contest, but what fans witnessed that night was something magical. In the first round, Hamilton launched 28 home runs, some over 500 feet. The crowd was in a frenzy. Broadcasters were speechless. It was the kind of performance that transcended the sport. He didn't win the Derby, technically, but no one remembers who did. That night belonged to Josh Hamilton.
In the air, right field. Heading up, heading out, ball game!
In the years that followed, he reached his peak. In 2010, he hit .359 with 32 home runs and 100 RBIs. He won the American League MVP. He led the Rangers to their first ever World Series appearance. Josh Hamilton, the addict who had once pawned everything he owned for drug money, was now the face of Major League Baseball.
He's been a regular season MVP. He's been to 2 World Series. Skip, we'll start with you. It's hard to say here, but how good could Hamilton have been if it wasn't for the substance abuse issues that you could say cost him 6 or 7 full big league seasons?
Stephen A., take away the drugs, take away the alcohol. I think Josh Hamilton could have been the greatest player ever.
Wow.
But addiction doesn't vanish. It waits, it lurks, and Hamilton's battles weren't over. He had relapses, one in 2009, another in 2012. They were public, embarrassing, but he was always honest about them. He didn't hide. He faced the consequences. Each time, he picked himself back up and returned to the game. In 2012, Hamilton had another unforgettable moment, a 4-home run game against the Baltimore Orioles.
Center field, number 4, Josh Hamilton on an unstoppable tear in Baltimore.
Only 16 players in MLB history have done it. That night, Hamilton went 5 for 5 with 4 homers and 8 RBIs. It was vintage Josh. Power, grace, and destiny colliding under stadium lights. But the years of physical and emotional wear began to take their toll. Injuries crept in. His production dipped. He signed a massive contract with the Los Angeles Angels in 2013, but never lived up to expectations. His struggles continued, and after another relapse in 2015, his relationship with the Angels deteriorated. He returned briefly to Texas, but never found his rhythm again. By 2017, his playing days were over. Josh Hamilton's story is not clean. It's not a straight line. It's not a fairy tale, but it is human. It's one of the most honest, raw, and gripping journeys in the history of sports. For every highlight reel home run, there was a hidden battle behind it. For every cheer from the crowd, a silent war within. And that's what makes his story so powerful. Because for every kid who dreams of being a star, there's a truth often left untold. Talent isn't always enough. Sometimes, the hardest battles aren't fought on the field, but inside yourself. Josh Hamilton was a cautionary tale and a redemption story, all in one. A man who flew too close to the sun, but still managed to touch it, if only for a moment.